Remaining on the theme of help and support, Essex County Council has been running its Innovation Support Programme for a number of years. Time passes so quick. If I say 5 years, that's probably not quite enough, maybe a little longer. But anyway, through that time we've helped hundreds of businesses, and I think I've ventured to suggest this morning that we'd done a bit of an analysis of last year's programme, and we reckon that we added about £26 million of economic value through the help that we're able to provide. The programme is run by my colleague Sarah Bell, who's the Innovation and Sector Development Manager within my team, and so Sarah is going to give us a presentation now which describes the support that is available to SMEs, support for innovation.
Thank you, David. I'll just get to the right slide. There you go, that's me. Yeah, David said it's been running for over 5 years. I think it's actually about 9 years, because I've been down in Essex now for 9 years. So it's quite a long time. We've worked with over 400 businesses, and the impact of that, I'll come on to a couple of case studies in a minute. So I'm not going to keep you too long, but I am going to give you a bit of an overview in terms of what the services are, and also give you a couple of case studies. And of course, earlier you heard from Simon Croft from RearClear, and that's actually one of the companies that we've supported. So just going back to something that Penny and David were talking about earlier as well, in terms of Essex County Council's vision, we want Essex to be a county where innovation and prosperity grows. So it's about creating the right conditions and the right infrastructure for those businesses to thrive and to grow, and about creating those higher value jobs and employment opportunities. So what is the Essex Innovation Programme? It's a no-fee programme, so that means as a business you don't have to pay for those services. We recognise the importance of bringing in those key experts to help you as a business to grow that business. In terms of who's actually eligible for the funding, it's open to any business in Essex, and that can include Thurrock and Southend as well. And there's two things. I know the slide up here kind of like alludes to the innovation side of things, the high technologies. Yes, we are looking to support those companies, but it's also about helping companies who are looking to grow and develop the business and come up with innovative and creative ways of actually growing the business, thinking outside of the box and doing things differently. And as it says, it's about helping companies to actually commercialise and exploit their innovative business ideas, a theme that came up quite a bit this morning. So in terms of what we can offer, it's access to the expertise that Simon mentioned this morning. So we work with a range of business professionals. They've all got long careers, private sector backgrounds, and they can offer a range of expertise around research and development, accessing grant funding, helping to make those relationships with the industrial partners and the academic partners that you need to actually get your ideas and businesses developed. It's also about helping with strategic marketing plans, helping you to develop commercialisation, exploitation strategies, and also just about licensing the products. And it's very flexible. It provides one-to-one bespoke business solutions. So I mentioned before as well, we can work with the really early startup companies as well as the more established companies. That's just a range of the support that we can offer. So it's going from the product idea itself, proving the concept, testing the marketplace for the idea, how you protect your intellectual property and putting you in touch with the right experts to do that. It's also about, very much the theme of today has been about finding the right funding and finance options. So today has been about the grants that are out there, but it's also about helping you to access the other opportunities there, such as loans, but also potentially angel investment, the private investment that's out there. And of course, key to that is actually getting the business plan right so that you can actually get that funding and pitch for that investment. We can also help with the products and process innovation, so we've got expertise in those areas. And as we've heard a lot today, it's about accessing the research base and the academic links that we have. And again, signposting you through to the further support that's out there. So in terms of the benefits to your business, it's all confidential. You have the one-to-one sessions with the business expert, the mentor. It can help you to actually start up a business, but it can also help you to grow an established business. It's about helping you to reach new markets and new marketplaces. It's about helping you to increase your sales and your profitability and turnover, and helping you to tap into the right funding that you need to grow your business. So a couple of quick case studies. This is a company, Vortex. They're based down in Thurrock, and they came to us because they're developing a number of new patented technologies, and they were looking to get these products to a wider marketplace. So we signed them up to the programme, and with the help of the mentor, they started exploring some further options for funding. One of those funding options was a tiger loan available to companies down in Thurrock. So we helped them to develop the business plan, the case for investment, helped them to pitch for investment as well, and that then levered the money through the tiger loan, which they're now investing in terms of R&D and staff. They've actually grown from 6 people to 17 over the space of about 6 months. So that's a really good news story. Another really recent case study is a company called Ashfire. They're based at North Wales, and they came to us. They've got a fire security solution, and they were looking to reach new markets for this. Needed some funding to help with the commercialisation strategy. So we've linked them in. Anglia Ruskin are here today. They've been talking about the MedTech programme outside as well. So through the MedTech programme, which is ERDF funding, we help them to access a grant for the commercialisation strategy, and that in turn has helped them to lever private investment, quite significant amount of money for such a small company. So those are a couple of the case studies. In terms of the process to access the support, it's really straightforward. Come and speak to myself or my colleague Danielle or Carrie-Anne, and Danielle's there at the back waving, and just come to us to talk about initial eligibility. It's a very brief application form which just captures your business idea, the needs, the issues that you have, so that we can then match you with the appropriate expertise. And there's my contact details and the website link there. Something else I was going to mention as well, actually, is there is an evaluation form in your packs, and within that we are asking what further events and activity would you like to see. So please do fill that in and feed back to us in terms of other funding workshops or even other themes and topics that you'd like us to cover. And that's me. Thank you.
Okay, so that's the 3 presentations that we had scheduled for this slot. And are there any questions? I guess that's the next few minutes. If there's any questions that anyone has on anything they've heard. No, maybe not. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, you can ask yourself a question.
I was just going to add something that I missed out on the presentation. With the Technology Strategy Board involvement in Europe, we now actually have a permanent office in Brussels with 3 members of staff there and meeting rooms. So again, we've got people on the ground seeing what's going on in Brussels, and if you were looking at building a consortium and you actually wanted to get a face-to-face meeting somewhere in Europe with your consortium prior to putting a bid in, then it is possible for us to help facilitate a meeting for you over in Brussels, if that is something that would be of interest to you.
Okay, very good. I have a question that I'll just plant in. I don't know quite which of the speakers might want to have a go at this, or comment on it anyway. Probably Clive or Ian. But a lot of the funding streams that we've talked about today, the grant covers a certain proportion of the necessary funding, but then of course the applicant themselves is expected to raise a proportion of match funding. Do you have a view as to how people typically go about doing that, or do your programmes have a role in terms of signposting people to other sorts of funding that are not necessarily yours but would help with achieving the necessary match? Either of you? Yeah.
some of the some of the Horizon 2020 is allegedly 100% funded, but when you read the small print, it's only certain activities that are funded, which are specific to the project, and there are sort of overhead activities and general day-to-day company activities that won't be funded, and they will have to come out of your own pocket. And the way it's a sort of a sliding scale with Horizon 2020 funding, the nearer the research or the nearer the project funding is to market. So if you go from a research project at 100% funding to an innovation project, that's 75% funding. And again, because they're looking at you taking things to market and selling it in a very short space of time, they expect you to be able to support the other input from either your own funds as a company, because effectively it's your employees that are doing a job and you would be paying them anyway. So you look at it, for a day's work, they would be paid 75% of their day's work would be paid by the commission, and you have to pay the other 25%. Or there are, and again, probably the colleagues from the Enterprise Europe Network will be able to talk about other financial instruments that are available to support participation. And there's things such as angel investment and bank loans and other items that are available.
Okay. Gentleman here.
Thanks, Dave. You're just on that point. Gary Haight from R&D Tax Specialist. We specialise in the R&D tax credit scheme, which could be another source of funding that will help companies to actually find their match funding proportion. So any company that's actually developing new products or improving processes can actually get a retrospective R&D tax credit claim figure. And our average for SME is about £40,000 for a first claim. So you can see it's quite a large amount of money that could actually go towards, the company's cash flow or improving its R&D, or indeed could be used as a match funding contribution to other funding. So that's something to consider as well.
Okay, that's really interesting. So, that's good.
Thanks very much. On the same point, something else you should look at, the Government Growth Accelerator Access to Finance scheme is there to do just that. It's to help growing companies get access to the finance they need, especially in the context of match funding. I know down in Kent and down in Thurrock, the scheme's done a lot of work with people looking at raising match funding on Tiger and things like Expansion East Kent. Something you should look at, I think.
So it's interesting that some match funding can be sourced from the company themselves or their associated investors. I think the tax credits one is really interesting because that can be applied retrospectively, and then of course those of us who are expert in these things know which sources of funding can be used for match against other sources of funding. So you could actually be applying for two different grant funding streams to match each other. Some things can't be used to match other funds, but other things can. It's counted as free money, free new money. So that's interesting. So any other questions? I'm sort of detecting that we might have come to the end of that. Well, I think it's probably time to sum up then, and I'd really like to thank all of the people who've contributed to today. I won't list all the speakers because we've mentioned them on the way through, but really grateful thanks to all of the people who've contributed in terms of presentations. I need to thank people from our own team, Sarah Bell, who you've heard from just now, Danielle Estley, who's over there, and Carrie Ann, who's also helped to organise today. Dan Davis from the funding team, and also Graham Gilbert. Is Graham still here? Okay. Okay, he must have disappeared. So Graham is part of our ECC's IS technology team, and they've helped to put all this together. So thank you to all of those. I also would like to thank, sort of by extension, although they're not in the room, the conference centre staff who've helped us to put this on today. You are in the conference centre of the Essex Record Office, and I'm in a slightly peculiar position today because although I'm a sort of customer of this facility, I'm also the supplier because the operation of this building does come under my remit. The Essex Record Office houses a huge archive of the history of Essex, and it's something that we're quite proud of. It's a nationally recognised facility that houses, I can't remember the number of miles, but it's several miles of shelving of records, physical records that go back literally hundreds of years. In a more modern sense, we've recently started a new dimension, which is a sound and video archive, which obviously only goes back 100 or so years, but that's a whole interesting dimension. And I'm kind of mentioning that as a plug because this facility is available not only for Essex County Council run events, but it's publicly available on a commercial basis. So if any of you as businesses do have occasion to need a facility like this, or the conference rooms that we used for the networking, then pick up a leaflet on the way out and take advantage of that if that suits you. So I couldn't help but do that, but thank you very much. But thanks to the team who run the centre. Finally, and Sarah's already mentioned it, please take a moment to dig out the evaluation form from your blue folder. Or it's black on the outside, isn't it? And it'll only take you a minute or two to fill in. We do value the feedback, and it will help to inform. It will help us to work out, the degree of success we've had today, but also to inform future events that we might want to put on. So I think that's probably it. Thank you very much for coming, and I hope it's been beneficial. Thank you very much.